Hello, 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 everyone. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day so far. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joe Pollock. I'm the Executive Director of Student Special Events, and we are so excited about tonight, y'all. This is gonna be a great event. So before we get into it, because I know y'all don't want to hear me spiel all night, I want to introduce a few people. First of all, I want to introduce my fabulous co-host, the amazing Catherine from ASUNM Community Experience. Absolutely fantastic. Let's give a round of applause for Catherine. I know, you're all applauding. I can hear you over the Zoom waves, even though this is a webinar. Crazy how that works. All right, guys. So next, we're going to introduce some incredible people. We're going to introduce some people over at UNM Food, the amazing Miss Amanda Gerard, the amazing Mr. Matt Schiller, and of course, Chef Hassan himself. They cannot be seen at the moment, but that is okay. We'll get back to them in a moment. Round of applause, guys. I love it. I love it. I love it. I can hear y'all over the Zoom waves. It's amazing. Next, we've got some amazing partners with us here tonight. So I would like to introduce to you guys, in no particular order, the amazing Miss Olivia Torres from the Lobo Food Pantry, the amazing Miss Raina Davis from the Women's Resource Center, the amazing Mr. Jason Riggs from the Roadrunner Food Bank, and of course, the amazing people over at FarmLink. We have two of them here tonight. I had tried to think of that in my head, how to make this work. The amazing Miss Alexandra Sai and the amazing Miss Kiki. There we go. Now let's get a round of applause for all of them. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We're so excited to have you guys. So really, the point of tonight is a couple things. One, learn how to cook. God knows I need to know how to cook, because let me tell you guys something. I make a mean bowl of cereal, but that's about it. Maybe some toast, but you know, it could use some improvement. But more importantly than that, we're here to raise awareness about a very serious issue going on in the world, and that's food insecurity. Just on the UNM campus alone, 1 in every 3 students are food insecure, which is just an insane statistic. And that's not even counting the millions upon millions of people all over the world who are suffering from food insecurity every day. So with that being said, I want to turn this over to the amazing Chef Hassan, and we're going to learn how to make some incredible meals tonight. So Chef Hassan, please take it away.
Thank you, Joe. Good evening, everybody. My name is Hassan Abassary. I'm the campus chef here at the University of New Mexico. Today we're going to be making one of the traditional New Mexican dishes that's basically with a twist. So we took the meat part and we're going to make it without the meat. So we're going to talk a little bit about our ingredients. So the main thing that we're going to need is basically the chili. Of course, we took the meat off. We're going to substitute with butternut squash and creamy mushrooms. And of course, we're going to have some onion. And of course, the main thing that we're going to have with it is hominy and olive oil, some garlic, some black pepper, salt, oregano, bay leaf, and for our garnish. So the garnish is optional. If you need to use it or not, that's up to you. So we have some cabbage, some radishes, some lime, and some cilantro. And of course, the other thing I want to talk about is about the chili. In case you don't have a blender, you don't have time to make chili. So basically, there is a chili puree that you can buy in the frozen section, and it comes in different sizes and different heats. So just basically, when you do the chili, just be sure you pick what type of chili that you like. If it's mild or hot or extra hot, so that way you're not having extra hot. Oh my God, it's too spicy for me. Okay, so we're gonna move back over here. So now I'm going to show you guys how basically to peel the butternut squash. First, what we're going to do, we're going to cut the ends. Then we're going to cut it in 3 pieces. To peel the butternut squash, as simple as easy could be, Just a simple technique that you have to do. Just run with the knife, very easy. And just follow the line, very smooth and nicely. So we're gonna dice it about 1/2 inch. First, we're gonna slice it this way. Then we're gonna cut it in strips. And of course, then we're gonna dice it this way. So we already diced some ahead of us. So we get some already here, already made. So basically what I'm gonna do, we're gonna put them on here in my pan. I'm gonna add about 1/2 teaspoon of olive oil, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. With my spatula, I'm gonna mix everything together. I got my sheet pan over here. Let it spread out evenly in the sheet pan. Now, so we're just gonna put it in the oven for 3735 for 20 minutes. Back to you, Joe.
All right. Hey, Max, if you could just mute yourself really quick. Thank you. All right, everyone. I hope you all are enjoying the cooking lessons so far at home. I would be too if I wasn't speaking to you all. So for the first little break that we have while you all are prepping your food and getting everything ready to go, we are going to be talking with one of our lovely panelists from the Lobo Food Pantry, a little bit about what they're doing to fight food insecurity and what we can do as a student body on campus. So with that being said, Olivia, if you'd like to take it away, feel free.
Hi, everyone. So a little bit about the Lobo Food Pantry in case you don't know how we work. Just to give you a background, the Lobo Food Pantry was started back in 2014 by the Dean of Students office and has continued. With that model, we began as a mobile food pantry. So what we did was do pop-ups that were open to UNM students and to community members at our UNM South parking lot. So it would be like a once a month pop-up. And you could come get a huge variety of groceries. We had everything from fresh produce to dairy to bread and canned and packaged goods, etc. We've been doing that steadily since, and because of sort of just like the national conversation around food insecurity and how I think it's always been an issue for college students, but people are just realizing it now and talking about it now. So with that going on, coupled with just the need that we saw for students, because the mobile food pantry was open to both students and the community, we felt that we needed to serve our Lobos just a little bit more and a little bit better. So in fall 2019 is when we opened up the campus food pantry. So our campus food pantry program is open to all UNM students. All you need to do is come and show your ID. pre-COVID world, we would actually welcome students into our pantry, which is a really cute, tight space in our basement in the University Advisement and Enrichment Center, where we have a bunch of shelves and cute little shopping baskets. So you would grab your little shopping basket and go around our cute little store and pick out all of the things that you wanted. The variety of items that we have there are non-perishables. We have baby food, diapers, toiletries. So it has sort of evolved from just serving students with food, but also with additional needs, right? Because if you're food insecure, probably other things are going to be suffering as well, like maybe personal hygiene, because we know that food is expensive. We also know that toiletries are expensive, right? Or can be. Diapers, right? All of these things that people need have come with an added expense. So we wanted to provide that outlet for our students. Now, since spring, we've had to sort of shift our operations a little bit in order for us to keep our Lobos safe. We don't have students actually physically come into our campus Lobo Food Pantry anymore. We have reformatted our distribution to take place outside. So we set up in the A parking lot by the SRCs and the tennis courts. We've converted it to a walk-up or a drive-up distribution. So if students are on campus, it's a great way for you to just come by and get a little bit of support that month. Groceries, again, it's primarily non-perishable goods, and then we have extras that we add into our pre-made bags and boxes. That is open to students every Monday from 11:30 until 1:30. Again, you can drive up and you don't even have to get out of your car. All you have to do is roll down your window, hold up your ID, and so there's no contact. The only contact that we have is one of our volunteers actually putting the box or the bag into your trunk, and then you just drive away. It's been very successful both ways, with students actually coming into our space, and then with students utilizing the drive-up service. And I hope students continue to utilize that. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in that most students who come to our pantry don't seem embarrassed to do so, right? Because I think there's a stigma around admitting that you need some help, right? But at the LoboRespect Advocacy Center, we just try to help students wherever they're at. And I just want to tell students that there's no shame in asking for help. And when you ask, someone will be there to help. So just a little bit about that. We have also partnered with the Women's Resource Center. So my girl Raina is on this call as well. She is there at the campus food pantry every Monday, helping us out with SNAP applications. So for students who want to get a little bit more information about what that is and how to apply for SNAP benefits, or what we usually refer to as food stamps, Raina is there to help us out too. So that is the food pantry in a nutshell.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And, if that is something that you're struggling with as a student, feel free to utilize that resource. They're super, super great. And then additionally, if you all have any questions at any point, feel free to let us know. And at the end, we're going to have a Q&A session with all of our panelists. But with that being said, Max, I will hand it back to you.
Hey Lobos, Max here with UNM Food. So before we get started with step 2, I just want us to take a little moment and talk about the UNM Food Recovery Network. So UNM Food hosts a chapter here at the university, and the goal is where we source and work with local community partners to help bring food to local food banks within the community to help fight food insecurities. So if you're a student or faculty staff here at UNM and you're interested in being part of our chapter for the Food Recovery Network, please message us either through social media at UNM Food, and you can drop us a message, or you can comment on today's post, or you can email us at mealplans@unm.edu. So if you guys have any questions about the Food Recovery Network, and want to drop your question in the Q&A, we'll be happy to answer at the end of our cooking class. So I know Chef is excited to get back to step number 2 of the recipe.
Thank you, Max. As a step 2, what we're gonna do, so basically this is the part that we're gonna do, so making the chili. So I got some water, 2 cups of water over here is boiling, so I'm gonna get it started. So basically what we're gonna do is just basically take the steam off, get any seeds off as much as you can.
Now, Chef, is it important to take the seeds out of the chili, or could you leave that in?
You can leave them all in, and basically, it's just if you don't want the chili to be, the taste to be too spicy for you.
Okay.
So if you want to just keep them in the end, just basically when you blend everything together, then you can just basically strain it, and then you just have the taste of the chili already.
Yeah, and are these just regular red chilies, or?
Yeah, Mexican has chili.
Okay.
And they're not hot, so they're not mild, they're not extra hot, just hot,
Gotcha. And do you recommend specifically New Mexico red chilies?
Well, if you're here from New Mexico, as this authentic dish, I would recommend that, because basically it's a very traditional dish. We want to be sure we keep it the same way.
And New Mexico has the best red chili.
Definitely, one of the best chilies here in New Mexico, no question about it. So we're just gonna put the chili over here in the wall to boil. In the meantime, so the chilies are gonna be boiling for 10 minutes. So I'm gonna show you guys how to dice some onions, to slice some mushrooms. So for the mushroom, is basically, this is a creamy mushroom. You can use any mushroom you like or you can afford. So the best way to do it is basically cut them in half. So that way you have a solid base, so that way the mushroom is not sliding on you. It's just several more, just basically with the knife to the wood.
Now, if I was doing this at home, I'll definitely need the cut gloves, because I'm probably just.
Yeah, cut glove is that important. That help you. If you're not professional, even if you are professional, basically still you need to have. We have a very, very sharp knife, so that way that will help you basically not cutting your nails or your fingers pretty good. So our mushroom is sliced. We get some already ahead of the time, so now we can get us some speed up a little bit. So now I'm gonna show you guys how to slice some onion. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna cut the tip over here. Then we're just gonna cut the onion in half.
Hey, Chef, so what's the difference between a yellow onion and a purple onion in cooking?
Well, basically is the sweetness. And most likely, the purple onion is basically used more for salads.
Okay.
Yellow or white onion is more for like cooking, like main dishes and all that stuff. So basically, we get our onion like this. So I left this thing back over here because that's the key. Is gonna hold our onion together. So what I'm gonna do carefully, I'm just gonna slide the knife this way, all the way until the end. So I'm gonna do like 3 cuts like that. And after that, I'm just gonna slide the knife this way. Now the mash is gonna happen. So look at how the onion is gonna be cut perfectly. So we got the mushroom slice, we got the onion diced, so we got our chili boiled. So we got some already had at the time. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna put it in the blender. So basically what you need to do at this part, put in the blender, put the blender on. So when it's ready, that you're gonna strain it and you're gonna get a nice chili sauce like this. Back to you, Joe.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chef. Shoot, so I got muted. I don't know how that happened. Crazy, right? Power of Zoom. But we are going to go to the amazing Miss Raina Davis about the Women's Resource Center. And Raina, if you don't mind me asking, what is the SNAP program?
Yeah, so just real quick, a little bit about WRC. We're the Women's Resource Center, and we are here to serve students, all students, regardless of gender. We have really great programming for folks in STEM. We have a Women's Health Initiative program. We have free counseling, confidential advocacy, all that good stuff. But the program that we're really proud to be really invested in is our SNAP application assistance. SNAP is also colloquially known as food stamps. So basically you can apply and then you'll get like a little prepaid card that you're able to buy groceries, anything that's not cooked. And what's been really cool about the start of this program was having all of our staff members trained to help folks fill out those applications. And I really want to shout out to Roadrunner Food Bank and of course Jason. Jason's helped the staff of the WRC with any questions we've had if we're super frantic or if we're working with a particular student. So we're really grateful to have that ally for the type of advocacy that we are doing for our students. So, you know, in regards to the application, I think, like Olivia was saying, there's a lot of stigma and there's a lot of, which shouldn't be there, right? And there seems to be a lot of like shame about food security. And it's like she was saying, there's no harm in asking for help or even just thinking, hey, maybe I'm just going to apply and just wait and see. I know for myself, when I was in my undergrad, I was on SNAP for 3 years. And at first I was like, oh, I don't think I would qualify. I don't think, you know, I can afford peanut butter bread and milk. Like I'm good, right? And it's like, okay, but think about access and quality of life. Like I should, you know, be able to buy snacks and buy healthy produce and have those options for myself. And SNAP is one way to do that. A lot of students are intimidated by the application itself. And what we see is my social work intern, Callie, and I will sit down with students, and mostly they just want somebody to watch them apply, right? Like, or sometimes there's some language that can get a little tricky. And so we're really grateful to be able to set up a virtual meeting just by emailing the Women's Resource Center and helping folks fill out those applications. Super grateful again to Olivia to be able to work with the Lobo Food Pantry to have that direct access. So you're like, hey, here's some groceries. Also, here's another way you could possibly get groceries. Here's my email, let's hang out, right? So we have SNAP walk-in hours on Tuesdays from 12 to 2, and you can take those appointment slots by emailing us. Again, if that's outside of your schedule availability, the WRC, we're happy to work with you for your schedule. I know finals week is wild, and I know students are doing so much right now. So kudos to all of you as well. So again, thanks, Olivia. Thanks, Roadrunner Food Bank. And I'm so happy to be with all of these really amazing people on this panel that really care about feeding our community and getting just the justice that we deserve as a community. So that's my spiel about SNAP.
Definitely, Raina. Thank you so much. And oh my goodness, finals. Oh, we're not going to think about that though. So let me find it. My next question for you is what do you think? What does the WRC do outside of this program?
In terms of like food justice, we do a lot of like destigmatizing because Olivia and I actually did for Domestic Violence Awareness Month some programming about what are food stamps, how to access different food banks, how to access food, and how to cook healthy recipes on a budget as well, because that is a form of violence prevention. Being able to have that knowledge and that feeling comfortable getting access, and once you have that access, being able to cook for yourself and feed yourself, and that's one way to kind of keep yourself safe and independent in a way, right? So we really do a lot of work program-wise talking about food insecurity, or talking about, okay, if you don't qualify for SNAP, how else can you get resources and the food that you need? And talking really openly about even like my experience on SNAP, or things like that, because it goes beyond just having access, but really working on that stigma so we can broaden that access as well.
That's absolutely incredible, Raina. Thank you so much. Shoot, Chef Hassan, if you are ready to go, love to see more about these next steps in this pozole recipe. I'm definitely getting hungry.
Well, now we are on the most important step that we're gonna do is basically the cooking. So we did all the prep, so everything looks good, everything is ready. So basically, I got my pot going over here hot. So I'm gonna.
Did you preheat the pot?
Yes, definitely. So you're gonna preheat your pot. So you're gonna put a teaspoon of olive oil.
So for those that are home, you can't really see, but the pot's really steaming right now. There's nothing in it. It's just heat coming out.
So I'm gonna add my onion in there.
You should be able to see the steam now.
I'm gonna add my minced garlic.
Now, for those that are home that might not have fresh garlic, do they use garlic powder for this?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Basically, salt, pepper, and garlic, that's the common thing that's usually in the oil. So even like the oil, you don't have to use olive oil. If you don't have it, you can use any oil that you have in the house. Same thing with the garlic. So if you don't have fresh garlic, you can't use any garlic that you have.
Okay. Yeah, because I always have garlic powder at home, but never fresh garlic.
So I'm gonna add my mushroom right now. So
And for the cooking part, you want to use a pot, not a skillet, right?
definitely you need to use the pot so that way it's basically it's a compact dish. So basically you wanna, it's gonna have liquid to it, and then you want to make sure that everything will hold together, and then enough space what that dish can be.
So you're pretty much just sauteing it within the pot before we're gonna add the chili and everything else.
Yeah.
To it.
So basically we just saute the onion for a minute or two, then we added the garlic, then we just added the mushroom. So we can season that with half a teaspoon of salt. Then 1 teaspoon of oregano.
No, it's smelling really great just at this point as it's sizzling.
And one day we're using enough.
So do you have to worry about burning the mushrooms and the onions, or is it just do how you like it?
Well, you just want to put them basically down. You want to get some of the water out.
Okay.
So that way, the flavor basically releases all the good flavor out of the vegetable. So basically, I think I'm pretty good for what I'm looking for. Onion and the mushroom, and the flavor is already good to there. So I get my vegetable stock, so I'm gonna add that. How many?
As soon as you pour the stock in, it got really quiet.
I'm just stirring a little bit so to be sure everything is mixed together nicely. So our banana squash, it looks beautiful. So we're roasted, it has that caramelized, and the flavor is really nice. So we add that. And the last thing what we're gonna add is our chili. So we're just gonna stir everything together. We're gonna bring it to a boil. Then after that, we're just gonna let it simmer for 10 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Chef Hassan. Thank you, Max. All right. Let's see. Our next panelist that we have speaking us today is Jason Riggs with the Roadrunner Food Bank. So Jason, tell us a little bit about Roadrunner and what you all do.
All right. So Roadrunner Food Bank is a statewide organization. And the purpose of a food bank is really to procure, inventory, deliver, purchase, and supply food pantries. All across the state, we have about 500 partner agencies. So the Lobo Food Pantry, when she was speaking about the mobile food pantry, that's a very common way for us to get food out across the state, is to partner with a local organization. In this case, UNM itself, and have one of our trucks, I think we have about 14 or 15 trucks in our fleet, go and drop about 6 pallets, enough to feed about 200 to 400 households. And we also supply food pantries, non-mobile food pantries, which are kind of at a fixed location. And we also supply shelters, senior living facilities, and through our childhood hunger initiative, schools around the state. We directly supply most of central and southern New Mexico, and then we indirectly supply the other areas of the state through our sister food banks located in Gallup, Farmington, Santa Fe, and Clovis. So altogether, we're getting food out to about 70,000 people a week through the hard work of our friends at the Lobo Food Pantry, and like I said, about 499 other agencies across the state. That 70,000 mark, that's a pre-COVID number. Things are changing extremely quickly, and we're looking into some research that that Feeding America. We're part of Feeding America, which is a nationwide network of food banks. They've done some research, and just to kind of give you a picture of what's happening now. So in New Mexico, pre-COVID, about 434,570 people were facing food insecurity. That's a lack of access to the kind of foods that are needed for your muscles to keep moving and your brain to keep functioning. So it was about 434,570 people facing food insecurity. Post-COVID, Feeding America is projecting an extra 118,580 people. So it's going to take us from about 15.1% of New Mexico's population in need of food to about 20.7%. So the situation is extremely dire. There is some hope on the horizon, and part of my function at Roadrunner Food Bank is client services. I manage the public benefits outreach program. So we have this nice little circle going on here. We got the Lobo Pantry, and we got the Women's Resource Center, which I've always been a big fan of. And one of the first out of our network agencies that I approached and said, hey, you want to help people apply for benefits? So there is some good tools. I mean, programs like SNAP can actually provide 9 times the amount of meals that the entire nationwide network of food banks can supply. So people really need both. They need the food assistance network, and they need public benefits when they can apply for them. And it's funny to see the chef with the butternut squash. We're seeing a lot of that coming through our warehouse. So Lobo Food Pantry, if you haven't seen them yet, they're on their way.
Thank you so much. Since we're really talking to a lot of UNM students at this point in time, what can students do to get involved with Roadrunner?
There's a few different ways. Let's face it, right now, with the new shutdown orders, everything's in flux. But our warehouse still needs young, healthy, strong people I shouldn't say young. We'll take anybody. That was I misspoke, but we need volunteers. We need people that can come in. I was thinking of people that maybe are a little lower risk, but we will accept help from anyone. All those boxes, most of our food pantries have gone through to drive-through models or low contact distributions, much like Lobo Food Pantry. So that means more box packing in our warehouse. We're no longer sending, big totes of food where clients could go and pick things. So we need help in the warehouse. I can always use more help at our help center. Our help center is a call center that connects people with public benefits and other resources. And right now, our physical help center is in a dark room at the food bank collecting dust. We have gone virtual. So volunteers that are interested can actually, if they have a quiet, secure place where they can work and they have internet and they have computer skills, they can help us virtually over the phone. So we have a few different options there.
Beautiful, thank you. And for all of our audience who are here with ASUNM Community Experience, keep an eye out because throughout winter break, we're going to be promoting some ways that you can continue to serve our community even through the break without, doing it through us. And I think that we might have something ready for you with Roadrunner from hearing about that. So thank you, Jason. Max and Chef Hassan, back to you.
Guys, we can't seem to hear you right now.
Are we good?
Perfect.
So for those that are at home, hey, Joe, have we received any Q&A questions yet regarding the recipe? Of anybody that at home that are cooking along with us have any questions or about where we're at in the process?
Yeah, we've got one. How exactly did you find the best method to separate the seeds from the green chili? And do you think that's something that needs to be done, or is it okay to have seeds in there?
I mean, it's okay if you want to cook the chili with the seed, and just basically when it's done, you're gonna blend everything. The seed and some of the skin is gonna be not separate, and they're gonna be pureed. So the best thing you're gonna need a colander, and just basically be sure you put all that in the colander, and you just strain it. You just get that nice puree of paste of the chili. So we have one of the colanders over here. So basically, it's one of them like this, and we have different sizes of holes. And so basically, that's what you're gonna need to strain your chili when you puree it. So moving back to our facility. So facility smells amazing, guys, over here. It's so good. So basically, we have one that's already made, already done. So right now, we're gonna work with the garnish. And in the meantime, we're gonna do the final finish plate. So basically, we get some lime over here. I'm just gonna cut the ends of it for them. Just gonna cut them in half. I'm just gonna cut another half. And we got 4 wedges. So for the radishes, this one is a little bit tricky. So as I said earlier in the beginning of the recipe when we started it, the garnish is optional. If you don't want to do it, or this particular item that you don't like, or you don't want to do, you can just skip it, just do what you really like and you can enjoy the most. So we're gonna slice it really thin. And the other thing, so we're gonna do the cabbage. So basically the cabbage, so you have the option, you can just buy it shredded, so you don't have to do this part, or you can just skip it, you don't have even to use it. So I'm just gonna cut the piece from here.
Now, why do you use specifically cabbage?
It's just traditional how we can, it just basically balances when you put all this toppings together with the facility. It just really gives a nice flavor together. You get that crunchiness, you get that spiciness from the chili, then you get that sweetness from the banana squash, and then you get the acid from the lemon. It's just a really nice balance. You have all those layers of flavors coming up all together. So it's just simple. You're just gonna basically very small, very teeny. So basically, this is how you shredded your cabbage. So the last thing that we're gonna do is basically our cilantro. So basically, I have some cilantro over here. I'm not gonna do anything fancy or anything that you can't do. We just basically very sharp, really rough cut. Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. So basically, this is what we're looking for. That's what we're gonna do. So our pozole is done. So we're gonna turn it off. So we get our soup bowl.
Now, during break, Chef and I were talking about other ways of cooking this at home. And what we were talking about and was what we thought was a cool suggestion is if you have a slow cooker at home or even a Instant Pot, that can reduce your time of you don't have to put the squash in the oven. You can just throw everything in that slow cooker or Instant Pot at home if you're looking for a different way on making this recipe other than on the stove.
So basically, I just fill up the bowl, and I'm gonna put a little bit of cabbage in the middle, little cilantro chop. Nothing has to be perfect. I put slices right here, and the lemon right behind. There you go, guys. Wow. Banana squash pasoli from UNM Food Kitchen. Back to you, Joe.
Well, dang, now I'm just really hungry. Shoot. That looks amazing, Chef. Wow. Wow. We've got some questions on that, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Excuse me. So we are going to go to the FarmLink project now, and I've got a couple questions for you guys. Introduce them once again. We've got Alex and Kiki from the FarmLink project. Huge round of applause. Woo! Love it. I can hear you guys over the Zoom waves. It's amazing, the technology of Zoom. Okay, so with that being said, Alex and Kiki, if you could answer these few questions about FarmLink, how did FarmLink get started, and really, like, what was the inspiration, and what do you guys do on a daily basis? Loaded question, I know.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for the introduction, and thank you all for having us here as panelists. We are honored. I'm Alex. I'm not a UNM student. I go to Stanford, but I'm here representing the FarmLink Project, which is a nonprofit grassroots organization founded and run entirely by college students. Fighting food insecurity is our mission, and repurposing surplus produce is our solution. So the FarmLink Project connects farms with a surplus of fresh, nutritious produce to communities in need while providing economic relief to farmers and truck drivers. Each year in the US, billions of pounds of food goes to waste. And at the same time, millions of Americans suffer from food insecurity. And so that's really the origin story of FarmLink. It was especially born in response to COVID-19, which severely exacerbated the disjointed food supply chain in the US when when hotels, restaurants, schools shut down, lots of farms lost their commercial orders. As a result, lots of surpluses began piling up on farms, while at the same time, massive unemployment led to long lines at food banks and soaring demand. So FarmLink was born in mid-April when a fellow Stanford student saw an article in the New York Times about an onion farmer in Oregon dumping millions of pounds of onions that couldn't be sold in the COVID-19 affected market. So he and a friend actually reached out to this farmer named in the article to prevent these onions from going to the landfill. And so that first week, FarmLink moved those 50,000 pounds of onions to several food banks in LA. And after this proof of concept shipment, the FarmLink project began to seem like a feasible idea. And we now have transported over 15 million pounds of food and now have a team of over 200 college student volunteers.
That is amazing, Alex. Great stuff. So another question for you is, how much has FarmLink donated and served since the time of the founding of it?
I can start off here, Alex, and feel free to chime in. Hi guys, I'm Kiki. Also excited to represent FarmLink and happy to be with you all today watching this delicious food being prepared. As Alex mentioned, to date, FarmLink has moved over 15 million pounds of food, equivalent to about 12 million meals. We've served 232 food banks in 20 different states, sourcing from farms in 39 different states. So it's pretty nationwide reach. I think because we ship wholesale produce instead of individual meals, it can be harder to quantify the number of individuals served, but I think the that number of 12 million meals really illustrates the impact FarmLink has had, and the food banks that we've delivered to serve a total of about 24 million individuals. And we're growing our delivery numbers every week, so that's definitely accelerating.
Awesome, guys. Awesome. That's fantastic. So one more question for you. So what is something, actually two more questions for you. It turns out I was just kidding. What is something that you guys wish more people knew about FarmLink, and how do you think we students can get involved?
I think something that I wish people knew about FarmLink is that we are specifically committed to serving some of the most underserved populations in the US, which includes communities left out of traditional food bank networks like Feeding America, which includes communities that are in food deserts, and which include communities like the Navajo Nation in New Mexico, which actually lack a lot of internal infrastructure to deal with food insecurity at such a massive scale. And I do want to specifically highlight several deliveries that we have done to the Navajo Nation Christian Response Team in New Mexico. So in late May, we learned that the Navajo Nation surpassed New York City as having the highest per capita COVID-19 infection rate in the US. And in addition to this devastating COVID-19 pandemic, the community disproportionately experiences poverty, with 46.5% of the population living below the national poverty level. And so we did a delivery to the Navajo Nation Christian Response Team, who's responsible for providing 65% of the Navajo Nation's population with aid. And so this is, I think, something that the FarmLink Project really prides ourselves on. We specifically target the most underserved and traditionally underrepresented communities across America. And we find that our operations are so agile and so adaptable that we're not constrained by geography or existing partnerships or existing relationships. We're really able to fill in the gaps where we're needed most. And I think we're really envisioning a new way to fight food insecurity and hunger, one that really requires innovation and a young perspective. Also, one more thing, the average age of our volunteers is obviously very young. I think it's around 20 to 22. So that really turns the whole stereotype of nonprofits on its head.
So well said, Alex. Oh, sorry, Joe. I was going to take your second half of your question. But yeah, so well said, Alex. I think to answer your question, Joe, about how people can get involved, there's a lot of different avenues to get involved with FarmLink. As Alex described, we are a group of college volunteers, much like a lot of people on this call from UNM. So I'd love to see you guys help out. So we do a couple different things, and Alex, again, feel free to chime in here. We do power hours, which are opportunities for external volunteers to get involved with FarmLink through donating an hour of their time to either research farms or cold call farms and farmers and ask if they have surplus or unmarketable produce. This is how the work that we do at FarmLink gets done. We research areas of food insecurity, we research farms, and we call them up and make deals happen. And external volunteers, just like the people on this call, can get involved and help see that through. I saw a question in the Q&A about how we are funded at FarmLink. A large majority of our funding comes from grassroots donations. So if people are of the means, they can donate, but that's not the only way to help out. In addition, another exciting update is starting today through the end of the year. Every time you go to Chipotle, you will have the option to round up and donate the change on your order to FarmLink. So even just a few cents goes a long way. $1 donated to FarmLink is enough to move 10 pounds of produce, equivalent to 8 meals. So think about it, if you're rounding up 40 cents on your Chipotle order, quick maths, that's like 4 pounds of food, a couple meals, and it's really significant. It adds up. So yeah, anything to add to that, Alex? I'm sure I'm missing some other opportunities. No? Okay, great. And follow our social media. There you go, at FarmLink Project on Instagram.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. I can definitely say FarmLink will make a lot of money off of me as I go to Chipotle frequently. So congratulations. That being said, we do have a few questions. And a first question we have is from one of our attendees. Is what is Chef? It's for you. What is one tip that you would give to beginner level cooks for both this recipe and just in general?
Basically, it's very simple recipe. I mean, just basically follow the instructions. Just read the recipe properly. Just the key is basically be organized. So what is the step that you need to do? First one, second one, and basically focus on your third step. That's the most important step that you need to focus on. So that way the dish will come out nicely. And the last thing is just take your time. Enjoy making that dish. Don't rush anything. And that's the main key that you need to have to be sure that the dish will taste pretty good.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We hope that answers your question. And our next question is from Eliza Rice. Chef, it's for you again. How many servings does this recipe make on average? Because, quote, I'm a runner and I eat a lot of food.
So basically, it depends on your appetite, how much you eat. So basically, this is based on a 1.5 cup portion. So it will give you about 4 portions. So basically, if you eat more than that, probably will give you about 3 portions just for you.
Fantastic. And then let's see, we have another question. Olivia, this one is for you. If we as students want to get involved in the food pantry, what do you think is the best way to go about doing that?
Yeah, so earlier when I was talking about our operations and how we sort of had to convert our campus pantry into a drive up, I forgot to mention our wonderful volunteers. We have UNM staff and a lot of students have stepped it up. I think because everyone's feeling like, please get me out of my house, right? Even just for an hour or something. So if you are interested in volunteering, we do only have 3 more distributions for the semester, and then we're going to take a break for during the time that the university is closed, and then we'll start back again in January. If you're interested in volunteering, send us an email to LoboRespect@unm.edu. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. That way, all of our attendees have that. If you have any questions about how volunteering works, we can answer them there. And basically, we just break it up into 3 shifts, 1-hour shifts. One is building the boxes, and then the last 2 shifts are actually helping with the distribution. So helping sign folks in, collecting the boxes and bags, and then loading them into cars. So I'll go ahead and put that in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Olivia. Okay, and we have another question coming in, and this one is for Raina. Is there any way to get involved in the SNAP program and try to get it out to students, and any way to really volunteer with it?
Yeah, so definitely it's important to get trained just because there's so many, policy things that change and different situations. It's a case-by-case basis. I would maybe Jason can say a little more about that, but reach out to Roadrunner Food Bank. But also I think I feel like a little bit of a broken record, but I don't even care because I think, the more conversations that we have about food and about SNAP, I think is also a way you can get involved in that. By being like, hey, I was thinking about applying for this program. Maybe you can apply too. Or, hey, this sounds like you need more access to groceries. Maybe you can talk to Raina from the Women's Resource Center and we can both apply, right? So I think either getting that training and or, of course, talking to your friends, directing them to on and off campus services like the Lobo Food Pantry, like Roadrunner Food Bank, and different, the storehouse, different food banks across the city. That's one way. Does that answer your question? I know it was kind of a roundabout thing, but, and then just, Jason, do you have anything to add to put you on the spot?
Sure. Yeah, if someone's, I took it the nature of the question was they wanted to get involved with helping people connect with benefits. So I think, yeah, I think you covered that. If people are looking for help in applying, you know, it can be very intimidating. The process itself can be a barrier. You can always give us a call at the Roadrunner Food Bank Help Center. Our toll-free number is 844-684-6268. I'll just say that one more time, 844-684-6268. You can also go to rrfb.org, stands for Roadrunner Food Bank, and go to our food finder or our public benefits page, and we'd be glad to help you out any way we can.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And the next question comes from an anonymous attendee. That's awesome. So does FarmLink ever want to expand themselves to go international?
I can take this one. Absolutely, I think that's a great point. Since we only started about 8 months ago, we are currently focusing on the United States, but have definitely put a lot of thought into expanding internationally. We have our first international deal coming up in Mexico this holiday season, and we think it's definitely a model of repurposing surplus produce and eliminating food insecurity that could be replicated in other countries. So I think as we continue to grow, we'll definitely consider expanding our international footprint.
Awesome. All right. So with that being said, I think that is just about the end of our questions, and that means I'll give about 10 more seconds. Or going once, going twice, going twice and a half. Oh, we have one more. There we go. See, this is why, oh, it's not a question, but these resources are wonderful to learn about. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to you, anonymous attendee. That's amazing. Yeah, they're absolutely amazing. These are amazing resources. So please, please, please use them. So once again, we're going once, going twice and a half, going twice and 3/4, sold it thrice. Alrighty, guys. So that means we are at the end of the event. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Thank you all to our amazing panelists for being here talking about the resources. We really appreciate it, and we know you guys are going to help so many people. And it turns out we have one more question, so I guess that thrice was a lie. How long does it take to apply for SNAP, and when do people hear back?
Yeah, so I'll take that. Yeah, it depends. Obviously, there's different rights that you do have when you apply. The application itself, usually when I do it with students, doesn't take more than half an hour. Again, it depends, and if you do want to sign up for application assistance, will take as much time as you need. But for just the application, it'll take about 30 minutes. In terms of when you receive benefits and things like that, or when you get your interview, generally what we have seen, and even during COVID, within 2 weeks you will receive an interview or a approval or a not approval, a denial. But you have rights, so within 30 calendar days you should be hearing something from the ISD office. If you don't, they're in violation of your rights, and then of course we can help you appeal that or get into contact with somebody. But for the most part, and from students we've seen this year, people have been able to receive benefits within a couple weeks.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And I just got a text on my phone from a person who shall remain anonymous, but is a question once again for FarmLink. Do you guys plan on expanding at all to work with alums?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a few volunteers who are recent grads, if I'm interpreting that question correctly. We have also a couple volunteers who are in high school, and we do work with a number of advisors who are true adults out in the real world. So absolutely happy to take anyone we can get, and happy to have anyone on board.
Awesome. Well, there answers your question, anonymous person. So with that being said, this time, for real, thrice time of the thrice times. Yes, Olivia.
Sorry, I wanted to just add, since we're talking about food insecurity and we are sort of entering into holiday time, and since there's only 3 more campus food pantry distributions, I just wanted everyone to know that Roadrunner Food Bank, our wonderful partner who supplies the food pantry, is doing a huge distribution. Those distributions happen at South Lot. So where we were usually doing our mobile pop-ups, Roadrunner Food Bank has been doing a distribution there. So for those of you who can't make it to one of the 3 remaining dates, which are going to be November 30th, so that's Monday, November 30th, Monday, December 7th, and then Monday, December 14th. Those are our 3 remaining food pantry days. We had to cancel this upcoming Mondays just for the health and safety of our volunteers due to the updated governor's shelter in place orders. So for those of you who can't make our next 3, or if you know anyone who is food insecure, please go out to the South Lot parking lot. I believe those distributions begin at 9 a.m. Jason, maybe? Correct me
That's
if I'm wrong.
correct.
9 a.m. every
Yes.
Tuesday? Cool.
And
So 9 a.m. every Tuesday.
for students that might be, heading home or still in need wherever they may go during, wherever they're at, they can always go to rrfb.org and put in their zip code or friends or family member zip codes to find other food resources in the community across the state.
Amazing. Amazing, guys. Okay. So this is for everyone this time. Going once, going twice. No hands, no hands. Going thrice. All right. So where was I? We are so thankful to have you all here with us tonight. Thank you so much for telling us about your resources, taking the time out of your crazy schedules. And we appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And we wish you all the best moving forward. To all of our attendees, please, please, please stay safe. It's a crazy time right now, but we got this, guys. And you know what really helps? Some butternut squash basole. And you want to know how you can make it? Thanks to Chef Hassan. Shout out to UNM Food. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate all the time. And these recipes will be up on UNM Food's Instagram page, as well as our Student Special Events and Community Experiences respective Instagram pages. So if you ever want to know, there you go. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night and stay safe.